Hello, everyone. How are you? It's so good to know that you're here again participating of another live from Brazilian Cattle to actually speak about a subject that I love, which is genetics. Today, we have a team from Geneal. They carry out a lot of work focused on genetic improvement, breeding, embryo production. There is a lot of interesting things for you to watch in this live. So stay with us until the end so that you can get all this information that are extremely important for you, our Brazilian producers, and our partners all around the world. And in order to conduct this live from Geneal, I would like to welcome Viviane Santana. Hello, Vivi. Welcome to our house. Thank you, Isi. We thank you for this wonderful invitation. Geneal is thanking you for that. And we are going to talk about genetics and animal biotechnology with the best it has to offer. Oh, that's so great. Look who we have here, and a few others that will take part in the live virtually. We have here Douglas Nunes, a researcher for Geneal, our friend Paulo Cerantola, who is the commercial manager of Geneal. Paulinho, welcome.
Thank you, Isi. The pleasure is all
And
ours.
also here with us, Carla Soares, who is also a researcher for Geneal. Hello, Carla, welcome. Thank you. Well, you are here at Casa do Zebu, or the House of Zebu. So this is your house as well. You can share all your knowledge with our friends from Brazil and all around the world, the best that you have about the genetics, biotechnology, and the work that you carry out so efficiently. Thank you, Vivi. Thank you. Welcome to the live of Geneal in the 15th Expo Genetic with innovations for the genetics in Brazil and around the world. And here for our chat, we have Paulo Cerantola, commercial manager, Douglas Nunes, and Carla Soares, who are researchers. Are we going to have a good chat today, Paulo? Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And to welcome you as well, we will invite Dr. Rodolfo.
It's a pleasure to share with our partners the beginning of the 15th Expo Genetics. Partners both in Brazil and abroad, with which Geneal has partnerships to export embryos, both in vitro as in vivo, but also in the exam of beta-casein in the genetic bank, and also the import and export of biopsies, production of clones, exporting of clones, as we have already done, and it's also enabled to the exporting. The accreditation for export is something that has to do with genetic, and Geneal can offer now to many different countries besides the ones that I've already mentioned. The service to export embryos, both in vivo and in vitro, as long as we are properly enabled. But hang on. Wait, because Geneal has prepared many novelties and news that are going to be approached during this event. Do not miss this opportunity. Geneal believes strongly that genetic improvement and the dissemination of this genetic, especially in the tropical area of the terrestrial globe, are fundamental tools to guarantee food security in the world in a moment that is so singular.
And did you know that Geneal is the most complete lab in Latin America? This is what you're going to see now in this video.
Reconhecida no mercado nacional e internacional, a Geneal traz grandes inovações para o setor agropecuário. Uma empresa altamente produtiva e em constante crescimento no aprimoramento genético. Contamos com uma estrutura completa para atender às mais exigentes demandas do mercado global. Laboratório de alta tecnologia, fazenda, quarentenário, estande para contato direto com clientes e parceiros e uma equipe de profissionais engajados na constante busca do desenvolvimento genético. Somos um canal de proximidade e referência com o comércio exterior. A Geneal é habilitada para exportação em vários países e realiza serviços de clonagem animal, banco genético, FIV, DNA e beta-caseína por mais de uma década. Recentemente conquistamos um importante recorde na história da biotecnologia animal: a produção de 8 clones de uma única matriz da raça Sind, um marco que simboliza a força da Geneal como instrumento de inovação para o setor produtivo. Aprimore e acelere sua genética. Somos um laboratório completo. Somos Geneal.
Did you like that message? For you who needs genetics and you need to improve your herd, you can count on Geneal. And we are going to now start talking about the services and the products that Geneal can offer to you. To begin this chat, I will talk to Douglas Nunes, the researcher and coordinator of the Molecular Diagnosis Laboratory. Douglas, let's talk a little bit about molecular diagnosis, what it is, what it's good for. Who needs that service? Who would need that service?
Exactly, Viviane. For you, breeder, you can send us a sample, and we're gonna have this test of relationship, and it provides the link of relationship, and you can send the in beta casein, and you can send a sample of these animals for us to extract the DNA and to have the test of relationship. And besides this, we provided the casein, which we do both of animals of any breed, any age, and these samples can be from blood, semen, or hair. And due to the ease of collection, most of our clients send us samples of fur due to to the fact that it's easy and the ease of handling. They send it to us, and we ask our clients, and it's very important for us the quality of the services and to send these samples in the correct manner.
You said that it's easier to send this material, but the farmer needs to pay attention to the process. What do they have to pay attention to when they are collecting this sample? And what kind of care do they have to take when sending the
Yes,
sample?
exactly. It's important for breeders, our clients, to send us to collect these samples in a correct manner. And what would it be like? For example, the fur. To remove the fur in direction of the creation, so we can have the bulb of the hair and the DNA sample, and to remove it correctly to identify the envelopes that are provided by Geneal, or you can use any envelopes that are made of paper. That is really important for so there are not any other contaminants, and correctly identified with a form, and send it to the lab, and we will carry out all of the process to extract the DNA of these animals, and after that we'll write the report for the
Well,
breeder.
actually, when Geneal was created, I think the company has always worked very carefully, and that's why it has developed and strengthened in the marketing, right?
Sure. We had an exponential growth over the years due to the quality of the services that are provided. Nowadays, Geneal is accredited by ISO 17025, and it's rank 1 in the International Society of Animal Genetics, and that is due to the quality of the services provided by us. And we do prize the quality for us to deliver the best product to our client.
And when the farmer, the breeder, stops and thinks, I need to have a molecular diagnosis. What is a molecular diagnosis? What is it for? Am I doing that to improve my herd? Am I having some gains? What's that for?
They will take this test to register their animals and to guarantee the genetic makeup of their animal and the link with that matrix or that bull, elite bulls, or that animal might be an elite animal in the future. And after that, have the cloning of their animal and the in vitro fertilization using that bull or that specific matrix. So it's important to guarantee the connection between of relationship with that animal. And when you talk about beta casein, it's important to guarantee the A2, right, due to the mutating the allele 1 over the years, and the herds has been recurring. So if you select these animals, A2, you're selecting genetics and the nutritional improvement also of your herd.
Well, so there is a number of benefits, right, for the breeders
Sure.
when they have a molecular
Yes,
diagnosis.
exactly. And thinking about this, Geneal always thinks about innovation and development. So we do have other products that are going to be launched. We're always developing new technologies to meet the expectations of our breeder. And among them, we're going to create, I'll talk about other proteins of the milk, which we're developing. And besides that, we're thinking about the diagnosis in which we're going to use biopsies of embryos so we can identify a few characteristics that are specific that our breeder wants. For example, the relationship, a link, and we can also include some proteins related to the milk. So all of this is innovation that Geneal offers to the
That's
breeders.
great. And this innovation, to talk about this innovation, we bring João Paulo Pussi. He's going to talk about this work carried out by Geneal.
Hi, everyone. I'm João Paulo Pussi, a doctor veterinarian, and I raise Brahma cattle in Franca, the São Paulo state. I'd like to recommend the lab Geneal from Uberaba that has DNA tests, and we've had a partnership for a long time, and to thank them for the competence, responsibility, efficiency, and integrity that performs all of our tests. And for all of the breeders that want to take DNA test, I recommend the lab Geneal.
João Paulo has an interesting story. Can anyone tell us his story?
João is, besides being a friend to us, he's a breeder and a, a cattle breeder. And because he came to Geneal because he had problems with another partnership, problems with another lab, and then we started a partnership with him, and we only not only performed the test for his animals, but his family and
This
friends as well.
is this regular? I mean, does is that a common occurrence? Because we notice that as the work is very well carried out and you have an expert team working with you, there is one farmer who will bring somebody else, a friend, a father. Does that happen very often? How is that process? It seems that it's something very close
Yes, it
ties,
is.
right?
We end up being friends of the client. So when a client comes to Geneal, and he is really well served. He indicates and recommends to other people, and we end up being a family. So, this work that we do with the client, and how should I say it? It's like a son that we have to raise, right, and pay attention to him. So it ends up being a friendship and with a client.
See what you cannot miss? Come to Geneal. Here you're going to have a very qualified service. Now, at the 15th Expo Genetic, you can visit our stand. The team will be there to service you. Now, we are going to change subjects a little bit. We're going to talk about cloning and genetic bank. Carla Soares is the researcher who is going to talk to me about that. Carla, why is it important to invest on the genetic bank and think about the cloning of animals? Well, to replicate what has been worked for many years in the farm by the farmer. Geneal started with modest indexes a few years ago when we started using this technique. And we leveraged the results with a lot of research and partnerships that we have established. Today, we have what, 500 animals almost that were born and So it's 500 satisfied clients. Now, who is cloning for? It's for the breeder that has been working for a long time and he wants to enhance their genetics. Those individuals who are out of the curve, who stand out, these deserve to be cloned. Within the service that we call cloning, we have cloning itself and the genetic bank. Genetic bank allows us to store genetic material from the animals, thus preventing a loss of the genetics that that farmer worked so many years to achieve. So the farmer can store the genetic material of that animal in our tissue bank, and then when they have interest, they can come and clone. So it's like an insurance of that animal. We have already had very satisfactory results with a lot of satisfied customers.
Yes, a lot of clients that are extremely satisfied.
Before, we were talking about cloning. Is is it positive both for the breeder that works with commercial herds as well as the one that works with elite animals?
So,
Well,
Vivi, we have two different lines, right? When cloning started back then, a lot of people didn't believe in it. And now, Geneal has been growing year after year. And this past 3 years, we had a really big advance in cloning. We're extremely satisfied. We grew 50% or more. And people at the place at the practice, they end up using cloning because they have a lot more development, and the donors are tested with many different bulls. And when this donor is tested and manage to do this with many different animals that stand out, they end up using the cloning or genetic bank and leaving this animal stored with us. And commercial cattle part doesn't think about this because they have animal and with numbers, and they improve the animal year after year. So some people use cloning, but it goes from all the bull breeds and all
but when
other
we
kinds
talk
of bulls.
about, for example, genetic improvement, breeding programs, we have to start thinking about that issue, right?
Yes, naturally. Also, we have to evolve, and each year we evolve a little bit more in this part.
Carla, what is the process that it entails? Could you explain it to us? Well, we collect a biopsy, a fragment of skin of the animal, and it's forwarded to the lab. We provide all the means, the buffer solution for the client, and then we isolate the cells. We remove the DNA from all sites. We isolate the cells, and that's how we can clone. Today, the customers in the national market, they know Geneal. We are the only lab in Brazil that does cloning. And we've had demand from clients from other countries who came to us to make their clones. We collected the biopsy material in the country of origin and we bring to Brazil, we create the animal and we export the calf after it's born. To explain this work, we are going to have another video from Murilo Gilbertoni talking about the work of Geneal in terms of genetic bank and cloning.
Firstly, it's a pleasure to be able to talk to Geneal and to have show a testimonial about the work in which we are believing and the benefits that cloning can bring to our herd and our areas of crops. We have already a lot of clones that are improving a lot our herd, and today we have the team. We are already collecting 4 animals that in which we believe a lot, and in the genetic improvement improvement that they might bring to the breed and to our area of animals. So I'd like to thank the confidence, the partnership, and the friend with all of the team that has always served us so well. And it's so helped us in all of the needs, and together they contribute a lot to our project.
So we thank Murilo Gilbertoni for this participation. And now, talking to our guys, do you know what happens? The Brazilian farmers have discovered cloning, but international farmers and breeders as well, Paulo.
Yes,
Well,
we do have a demand that is satisfactory of the international market looking for Geneal to
do
perform
you
cloning.
think that's due to what reason?
I believe that what they saw every time that a foreigner comes to Brazil and gets here and sees the animals that we produce from clones. We already have sons of clones or clones that came for two competitions and they have won. And they don't have the same structure that we have, so they need demands that are very of animals that are very specific, which would they like to clone. So they are looking for Geneal to for very specific demands. We have Bolivia, which is our biggest partner of cloning. Now we had a consultancy from Costa Rica, Colombia, and Guatemala for this type of material to perform cloning.
Well, it's only growing, right? And you guys can grow with Geneal. And to talk about export in different countries that are part of the Geneal group and who are receiving this genetics, let's hear from Dr. Rodolfo talking about exports. And export is our main subject right now. Carla, how can we evaluate export at this time? Genial exporting to other countries, delivering good quality genetics, and IVF. Well, exports have been growing a lot, especially in the last 2 years. We have had a lot of people coming to us. And before we talk specifically about export, we have to think what's necessary to start a process of export. So, if you are a farmer, breeder visiting Expo Genetics, and you want to know what you need to start this process, the first step is being accredited, and we need to know what are the health surveillance protocols of the country who is importing. And based on that, we can make an embryo that is exactly what the client needs. If it's vitrified in vivo, some countries have different demands. So we are able to meet all those demands. The second is the accreditation of the lab. We ourselves are already prepared for exporting embryos for many countries. We study the health surveillance protocols and we adapt because Geneal is interested in doing the best for the farmers and breeders. So we are going to do our best to make these embryos based on the protocols that are in effect. These protocols, they think about health barriers. There is a lot of exams that we have to do in that cattle, and Geneal is prepared for that. We do have an infrastructure that was created thinking of that. We have the quarantine zone, the free
Yes, is now
sanitary
Geneal in
area.
the export area is very complete. We are accredited for Guatemala, Colombia, Canada, Costa Rica, Ecuador, Paraguay, Panama, Dominican Republic, and Bolivia. And each animal, each country we have a specific demand. And normally, breeders, when they have a specific requirement, we try to understand their process. And today, we created a protocol within Geneal to meet the to provide services to the largest number of countries that we are accredited to provide. When the animal comes to Geneal, first it goes through a group of tests in the farm, and it's quarantined for 30 days. And the many exams are performed in the farm, and after that, it comes to Geneal. When it goes to Geneal, we go to the quarantine area as well. That there is another group of tests that are made, and to try and identify. And what we usually tell the client is, if you are going to export to a specific country, we ask and we say, is it just for this country? Because if it's not, in the middle of the process and he says, I want to do it, send it to another country. What did we do in Geneal? We created a complete protocol that encompasses a lot of the countries the most countries that we are credited for, and then we do the exams in the quarantine area, and then it goes in the free area, and then we start producing. If any of the animals is positive in one of the materials of the exam, it has 24 hours to leave the farm. So the animal does not stay in the quarantine area and in this farm because it has a very sanitary and extremely strict system. And when the client deals with the export, he has to think very clearly what he wants. So he doesn't want to, it won't change to in the middle of the process. And when that does happen, we cannot do this. And we have a unique one protocol that encompasses as many tests, and this way we can do the process for him in a
That's
better
why
way.
it's so important that the client that's thinking about exports sit down and have a conversation, a careful conversation with you so that they understand the full process. We are talking about a protocol that at the same time that it's very detailed because you are trying to send products to a lot of countries, it's also very encompassing, right? That's what happens. You think about all the details of the process as a whole. And it's important to do that. And it's important that the clients come to you to understand all the steps of the process.
No, the client has to be very aware of the process because nowadays the market and the demand of international market is very big, and not all labs are enabled to do that. So we have to be very careful when an importer comes, visit us, and goes to a farm or to another breeding place or another lab that wants to take embryos, because we know there are some demands that we get that where embryos get to other countries, but they don't follow the original protocol. So Geneal is extremely thorough for this, and we go through the whole process, and we provide a consultancy to the client, both to the one who's selling and to the one who's buying. So all of the products that we have and deliver is extremely careful, and we care in terms of quality and sanitary aspect for that is demanded by the country that you're taking the embryos to, because I can take an embryo there and can take there with a disease, and when the breeder puts it as the goal when he wants to do something what he's supposed to do, if he wants to, he really has to be conscientious about it so that the breeder is not harmed in
That's
Brazil, not
why
just here as well as
it's
there.
interesting when the farmer comes to Genial and says they want to export, they already feel at ease on talking to you because they say, I'm going to a lab that is accredited, that it has a protocol, and it's important for the farmers to think that. Think about bringing your embryos to us and sending your embryos abroad through Janelle. Now, again, let's talk to Dr. Rodolfo. He is going to talk
It's
about health
important to
surveillance
highlight
protocols.
when we talk about the exchange of genetic material the sanitary protocols. The sanitary protocols try to, and they're bilateral, both in the sense of the importing country as well as the exporting country, in trying to set clear rules to minimize the most the sanitary risk of bringing animal genetic or microorganism genetic and disseminate diseases or spread diseases. That is a major effort, and that exactly that structure that Geneal has prepared to guarantee this quality from the perspective of the embryo. The embryos still have some characteristics that are going to be approached by Paulo. Dr. Rodolfo, talking to us, today in Geneal, we created a sanitary protocol to meet the demands of the largest number of countries possible. Since we have a very big demand, we have created a protocol for the client to be more at ease and more satisfied with the demand itself that the market is making.
And to emphasize what Paulo has said, Dr. Rodolfo has said, we are now going to hear from José Santiago Molina, who is a client from Guatemala, and Cardoso, who is a client
Greetings
from Brazil.
to Brazil from Guatemala. We are going to receive the first tank of nitrogen with embryos produced in Geneal. And maybe at the end of August, a second tank with embryos produced by Geneal as well. The first that's going to arrive tomorrow has embryos from the Nellore breed, and at the one that comes at the end of the month, the breed Brahma. For the 50 years, the Nellore and the Brahma breed also has been very well accepted, and we are very excited to have this exchange because we like the work that is carried out in the professionalism and the technology. I am Adalberto Cardoso from Brahma Braunas, and we're here today to talk about our export program. And Geneal is our most important partner in the collector of embryos and other events that are necessary for carrying out this work of export embryos and semen. We nowadays we search a partner here in Brazil to collect the embryos that could make the difference and that would give us a guarantee of quality. Because in Brauna Farm, we also offer this guarantee of quality and pregnancy at the end result that we offer to our clients. And Genial, in this way, is the perfect partner because all of the work with all of it's very careful with a lot of quality and it gives us, let's say, this guarantee and this ease to give these guarantees to our clients as well.
And that's what Chanel does, brings innovation for Brazilian livestock production. Paulo, those are customers that are increasingly more satisfied with the
Yes,
competence in your
and
work, right?
we are extremely satisfied and pleased with this demand with our clients, both in Brazil and abroad. We have an extremely high demand. And in the past 2 years of during the pandemic, we grew a lot more than we expected. So that is really satisfactory. We have a demand nowadays, and we're showing credibility to the market, and that is really good. And our results and our products abroad, the acceptance has been over what we expected before.
And to talk about the satisfaction, we're going to hear from two other clients from
My name
Geneal.
is
Andres
Andres
Vera
Bersani,
Cedeño,
and
is
I
that
am the
right?
director of
Thank you. A
IRAE,
hug to you,
and in
Andres,
terms
and
of animal
Roberta Bertin
reproduction here
Barros.
in Ecuador. And I'm really happy with all of the partnerships and the negotiations that we could have with the laboratory Geneal from Brazil, our friend Paulo and Dr. Rodolfo, and all of the negotiations that have been marked through the production of embryos and the technology transfer. And our company has been able to, through Geneal, to buy many embryos for export and to be able to create new genetic material that can improve the performance of reproductive and productive of the country of Ecuador. And I'm really happy personally for all of the embryos that we were managed to bring here. These embryos are now here, have been born, and with a very good rate of conception. And all of these embryos were in vitro embryos, and they were processed with the gene transfer. And all of these embryos have been really good for our work, and we're very pleased because the results were very positive, and Geneal has helped us at all the way, and processing these embryos and through the sending these embryos and also the transfer technology that has been easy, and we have been managing to get really good results. So greetings to all, and I thank Geneal for the trust and the partnership that has with us.
Geneal has contributed to the process of exporting embryos because it's a door that opens for the genetics of our dairy deer and its matings, bringing the fruit of our work to farmers all around the world and meeting all the requirements made by each country's authorities within the right time frame. They also take care of the customers, and they have helped us to organize future trading of embryos for breed selectors in several countries. This way, they can meet the demands of our customers. Thank you for the Genial team. And I saw the farmers talking about their realities and the challenges. This is so nice. That's what we're going to discuss with Carla now. Carla, are there many challenges for exports? Yes, there are. But challenges are our strong suit. We are prepared to service our clients in the lab and outside the lab. In the lab, we treat the embryos to prevent any kind of contamination. And outside, by following all the protocols demanded by all the authorities, the Ministry of Agriculture of each country, so that these embryos can be exported in an adequate manner. Genial has a structure for that and also the know how. We know how to do. We just need the client to come to us and say what country, we check the protocol, and we embrace the challenge. That's right. You
Genial,
can also
thanks the
count on Genial
opportunity
to
to
overcome
be
your challenges.
together with
Well,
our
our
partners
live at the
through the
15th
15th
Expo Genetic has
Expo
come to an
Genetics.
end, and we invite Dr.
As
Rodolfo for the closing.
was predicted, it was a huge success. It was possible to consolidate many negotiations, open new ones, and especially to show that what we are and how we can help you in your project of genetic and dissemination of improvement. With count on us with the dedication of all of our segments and departments to guarantee food security worldwide.
Thank you. Thank you that was watching our live until now. Paulo, Douglas, Carla, thank you.
We thank you once again, Brazilian Cattle, for this opportunity and for Geneal that is really rewarding. Besides being friends, we are partners of all of you. We wait for you all in Expo Genetics. Visit us.
Thank you. Thank you all for tuning in into this live of Geneal on the 15th Expo Genetic. We are very, very happy for the invitation, Isi. We are the ones who are incredibly happy to have you here at our home and that you shared so much important information with our audience from all over the world. After all, biotechnology, genetics is the way that we have to help your country in increasing productivity. And I myself was very happy to have you guys here with us and understand that you are following all the processes. Of course, I know already the structure of Geneal. Paulinho and I work together a lot so that we can open new markets and get new accreditations. I know how hard work that is, how much of hard work that is. And I'm a witness of the dedication that you guys have had in order to try and provide an increasingly better genetics with complete health. So thank you guys and thank you audience for participating in one more live. Please continue with us. Stay tuned because we have a lot more to come. Thank you. Bye bye.